Welcome to another episode of Steve Lags Unfiltered. I've got a great topic for you. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about a leadership subject that in order for you to be able to master leadership, whether you are a current leader or you're aspiring to be a leader, you're going to need to understand this concept and be able to overcome the obstacle that this concept presents. So stay tuned, because I guarantee you haven't heard this before, because my angle of a particular subject here is going to be different than you've ever heard. Let's get going.
And now, introducing your host, Steve Lags.
So one of my favorite authors is Robert Greene, and a couple great books that he's authored. He's authored many of them, but two of them that I really want to give some credit to, and I would highly recommend reading them. One is the book Mastery. This is a great book. It's had a great impact on me. And also the 48 Laws of Power. Now, this guy's total genius. I follow him. I'm always watching what he's saying. He's got a great presence on social media. And one day, Robert Greene will be on the Steve Lags Unfiltered podcast. I will manifest that. I will 100% commit to that. So let me give you a quote that he just had here a couple days ago that I heard, and I thought it was really good. You know, he said that we are all a product of our cultural moment. And when he was talking about a product of our cultural moment, it was in the context of a conversation about having the motivation and the desire to accomplish big things in life, to be able to live a very intentional life, to pursue your full potential, to drive impact in this world and ultimately help other people and accomplish all of your goals. And in order to be very motivated and have the energy that you need to overcome the cultural moment. And he went on to say that in order to be able to do this, you're going to need to swim against the tide of the times that we live in. And now, what is he speaking about here? Well, if you think about the way people are programmed right now in society and with the culture here, we are all programmed to be average. All the messaging and everything that we've been taught and we're learning from the mass media and the government and everything else, or the common thoughts are in the current culture. You go to college, and college is great for some people, but not great for a lot of people. You get a student loan. The average debt is almost $40,000 for the average student that exits college with a student loan. Then you get a job, but you're told that you should only work 40 hours because a 40-hour work week is going to be healthy for you. That's the best thing for you. And if you work anything more than that, you're being overworked. So you're going to dislike your job so much that you're going to want to work the bare minimum. And if you had the option, you would work 20 hours because you really dislike what you're doing so much. And you're going to have no purpose aligned with your work, that you're going to want to work as just the bare minimum. Then, you're going to shoot for the stars and aim to get in the middle class, because that is going to be the ultimate. We want you in the middle class. And also, while you're doing all this, make sure that you're comfortable, because you need to be comfortable. If you're uncomfortable, that's not healthy. You need to find and seek comfort. And also, let's make sure you avoid stress, because stress is a bad thing in your life and you need to avoid stressful situations. And don't get obsessed about anything, because that would be offensive and that would not be healthy if you lived a life where you were obsessed about pursuing anything that was particularly important to you. Then go and make sure that once you get to a particular point where you have enough of money, go buy a house and then go further in debt and make sure and get a mortgage. So you just put 15% down and leverage yourself so you have an 85% mortgage. Then any extra money that you make from that point on, put it in a 401k plan. And then you could save enough money in that retirement plan, whether it's a 401k or an IRA, throw it in a stock market. You're going to be in a bunch of mutual funds, investing in companies you probably know little about. And then if you make it and you take care of yourself and you're healthy enough, when you're 62 or 67 Then you could retire because you hated your job so much, you hated your life so much, you couldn't wait to stop working. And then you could finally start living because now you'll have made it there. Now, so if you think about that is programmed to be average, why wouldn't we program people to shoot for the upper class? Why would the goal be the middle class where that's just pretty much, hey, there's nothing wrong with the middle class, but that's the average where most of us are. And the middle class, it's not just a financial status, which they'll make it sound like the working class. It's actually a state of mind. It's a mindset. So when you have a middle class mindset, part of it, of course, is financial because that's how they determine which class you're in. And why are we even putting people in classes? But what it really represents more than a financial status, it represents a mindset because you've accepted average and you've been programmed to be average and you've accepted that program. Now, if you want to overcome all that, you're going to have to overcome that to become a great leader. So whether you are a leader or you want to be a leader, for you to be a leader, you first have to overcome a lot of that. Because number one, you're going to need to learn to think for yourselves. You're going to need to be able to tune out negative influences because people are going to be influencing you. And anytime you do anything against that, you're likely to get some pushback. If you're obsessed, you work too hard. Oh, why? You have enough. Why do you need more? You don't need to do that. You're good enough. And avoid stressful situations. Hey, that stresses you out. You shouldn't do that anymore. Think about this. If you're an NFL player and I say to my friend, hey, I'm a linebacker for an NFL player, or we just made the Super Bowl and I'm super stressed because this game is a high stress game. I cannot wait to go play this game, but man, I'm super stressed about it because this is what I've been waiting for this moment all my life. This is really stressing me out. And then your friend said, well, hey, you know what? If that stresses you out, don't win so many games next year so you don't have to go to the Super Bowl each year because that's not healthy for you. You shouldn't be stressed. The issue is not the fact that you're in the Super Bowl, it's how you're responding to the Super Bowl. So in life, when we're responding to situations in life, we're programmed, we'll avoid it. But it's actually the opposite thing what you need to do in order to become a great leader. You need to be able to confront those situations, do the things that you may be fearful of. Like for me, I was fearful of a lot of things. I was fearful of public speaking. I was fearful of failure because I thought that I didn't realize that you can never fail. You were going to fail no matter what. I didn't realize that you get a return on failure and failure is part of winning. I didn't acknowledge this. I was fearful of speaking in front of people because it was an unknown for me. And the best thing I could do was simply go in front of people and do it again, confront it. If I avoided it, I would have never overcome those fears and those stresses that I experienced because of those fears. So the point here is a lot of what we're programmed to do is the exact opposite. Go sit down with super successful people. And when I define successful people, these are people that are successful in their personal life, in their professional life, in their financial life, and they're driving impact and helping a lot of other people. And I can guarantee you 99.9% of them will tell you the opposite of what the mainstream in our society is programming you. So if I tie this all back in, the purpose here is what I'm getting at is in order for you to be a great leader, you have to understand that this is what exists and you are going to need to consciously and intentionally overcome all this. Because if you subscribe to that recipe in life or to that way of living, you're never going to be able to lead other people because you're not leading yourself. And you think about it when we're programmed this way, hey, go to college, but you could get a loan if you can't afford it, and it's $40,000. So now that person has got power over you because you need them. You're no longer independent, and you need them because, I got this $40K loan. I need them to be able to forgive it. So when we're making these decisions in life, we're like giving up our own power. When you start leading yourself and making a conscious decision, hey, I am going to where I'm going to find a job that is so exciting to me, aligns with my purpose in life, aligns with my goals, and the company is so amazing that I'm not worried about leaving here every single day and just working the bare minimum, because it excites me, it motivates me, and also I know what I'm trying to accomplish in life, and I'm aligning my work with the rest of my life. And that's what I'm going to learn how to do. And now this is super exciting. And sometimes I don't know if I'm working or if I'm just having a good time or I'm living. I don't know what life is. There's no work-life balance because there's no balance. And that's another thing. The worst thing you could do is balance. If you feel you have balance in your life and you're comfortable, well, if you are comfortable in life, that means you are not growing. And you're either growing or you're dying. Some people die at 29 years old. They just haven't made it to the grave yet. And that's the way a lot of people live. They're just waiting to die. So if I'm comfortable, then I know that I'm not growing. If I go to the gym because I want to be fit and healthy, and I go seek a comfortable workout, how is that going to work out for my physical health? If I have a comfortable workout, am I going to accomplish the things I want to accomplish? No, because I know that the discomfort is stretching the present capabilities of my muscles. And when I do that, I put those muscles under stress. I have discomfort. And how do they respond? They respond by getting stronger and developing. But if I avoid that, I never develop them. They don't get stronger. They don't have more endurance. And the same thing applies for anything in life. If I don't apply stress and pressure in my life, I don't stretch my rubber band, I don't expand myself, I don't expand my horizons, I'm not pursuing my potential because I'm comfortable. So these are all important things. Now, when you understand all this for yourself, then you're also going to need to understand that because the people that you lead are going to be dealing with the same thing. Now, this is not a good thing. This is not a bad thing. This is just a reality of what we're working on. And if you can be the example first and foremost, because if you can't do, you can't teach. You can't lead. You have to lead by example. You have to set the example. Be transparent about the life you're living and what you're doing, and be a great example so you can show the way and inspire people for just a little bit at a time, be able to make those changes in their lives. Because if they can see that in you and they see it works and you're not shoving it down their throat, you're not forcing anybody to do anything, but you're setting a great example of what's possible and that, hey, you can swim against the tide of the cultural moment right now with me. And takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of motivation. You have to really want it. You have to know what your purpose is and what you want to do during your time here on the planet. And if you do that with me, whoever I'm leading, we're going to have a great time and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to be challenged doing it. It's going to be tough at times. There's going to be times we're going to want to give up, but we're going to be so persistent. You never fail. If you never quit, you just keep going, especially if you're aligning that with a true purpose. And when you're leading, you've got to develop your people to move through that, because in order for them to fulfill their amazing potential and to pursue that truly, these are the things that they're going to need to overcome. And they're going to be dealing with, well, hey, who's influencing them? And who's influencing you? And it's why it's so important to seek out other people and surround yourself with people that really truly believe. They don't subscribe to being average, even though they don't call it being that, but that's what it really is. It's a prescription to be average. Bring yourself around like-minded people. Make sure you're protecting your environment in your personal life, your professional life, and your business. Bring more people like that together, because then you start feeding off of one another and seeing what's possible, and then you start seeing people win. So guys, put a bow on this here. Main thing I'm trying to say here is that in order to become a leader and to be an effective leader and ultimately lead, the one thing you need to understand is that you have a big force that's working against people being really super successful and pursuing their full potential. And that's what happens in the cultural movement of today. And we're all going to need to swim against that tide just like Robert Greene says. And once we do, we're going to get stronger. And if you really want to change the world, this is how you do it, because then you get people that start thinking for themselves, start leading themselves, and stop depending on other people to have power over them because they subscribed to a prescription that's going to get them stuck in the middle class. And remember, the middle class is a mindset, and that mindset is an average thinking mindset. So let's go out there, let's be extraordinary leaders, and let's lead people to extraordinary lives.
That's all for today's Steve Lags Unfiltered journey. Keep soaring, leading, and conquering with us. Remember, it's not just about listening. It's about learning and taking action. If today ignited your drive, join us next time for more unfiltered wisdom. Subscribe, rate, and leave a review to fuel your success journey. Also, be sure to listen to us on your favorite podcast channel or outlet. Stay tuned, stay unfiltered, and we'll catch you on the flip side.